Welcome to the presentation on probation and dismissal. This presentation is designed to help you understand the process of Stage 1 and Stage 2 academic and progress probation, as well as dismissal. In this presentation, we will also cover some strategies to clear probation and where to go for help. Based on state law, the college is required to keep track of your grade point average, or GPA, each semester. If your semester GPA is below the required 2.0 or C average, then you are placed on academic probation. The college is also required to monitor the percentage of units you successfully complete compared with the total number of enrolled units. If you have problems completing more than 50% of your units, then you are placed on progress probation. The standard that students are expected to maintain for the cumulative GPA, which is your total GPA over all semesters attended, is a 2.0. This is essentially a C average. Students often struggle to do so, especially when certain life circumstances occur. Some examples of these circumstances are things like work, family issues, car troubles, or overreaching in the amount of classes a student takes on. Students who are unable to maintain the standard of a cumulative GPA of a 2.0 after being enrolled in a minimum of 12 units are placed on Level 1 academic probation. If a student enrolls the following term and once again is unable to maintain a 2.0 GPA in that term or your overall GPA, then they are placed on Level 2 academic probation. If once again a student enrolls and once again is unable to maintain a 2.0 GPA in that third term, the student will be subject to dismissal from the college. Students are unable to register for classes or make changes to their current schedule, including adding, dropping, or changing a course to pass no pass in that situation. Each course is assigned a number of units. For example, you will see that English 122 is a 3-unit course. Each letter grade has a corresponding point value. A is equal to 4 grade points, B is equal to 3 grade points, a C is equal to 2 grade points, a D is equal to 1 grade point, and an F is 0 grade points. To calculate GPA, start by determining the grade points assigned to each class completed. Grade points are the number of units the class is assigned multiplied by the number of points earned. A GPA is your total grade points for the whole semester divided by the number of units you completed for the whole semester. You can access a link to how to calculate your GPA on this webpage. The other area that the college is required by state law to track is your progress towards completion of courses. If 50% or more of attempted units are a W for withdraw, an I for incomplete, a C for no credit, an NC for no credit, or NP for no pass, you will be placed on Level 1 progress probation. If you enroll for courses in a subsequent term and again do not complete at least 50% of the courses you attempt, or are still below an overall completion rate of 50%, then you will be placed on Level 2 progress probation. If once again in a third subsequent term you do not complete 50% of the courses you attempt, you may be placed on dismissal from the college. There are some reasons why withdrawing can hurt you, the college, and other students. First, a W indicates that the state paid the college for enrollment, but the student did not complete the class. Also, it means the student is occupying a seat in that class that could have gone to someone else. Finally, it also means the student paid tuition for the class and did not receive grades or credits for that class. If you receive an I or incomplete in a class, remember that you only have 1 year to complete the coursework that the instructor is requiring of you to get a grade. If you do not do so, then your grade will change from an I to the default grade the instructor gave you, which could often be an F. If you receive an NC for no credit or NP for no pass, you did not receive credit for the course, and therefore it does not count towards the 50% needed for progress. Using this example, you can see that this student withdrew from 3 3-unit courses. You can divide that total number of units completed by the total number of units attempted. The student attempted 12 units, but only completed 3 of those units. Therefore, the percentage of completion is 25%, which is below the required 50%. So even though the student has a 3.0 due to the B in English 122, which provides the student with an acceptable GPA, the student will still be on progress probation due to the lack of completing 50% of the units he or she attempted. If you are having academic or progress issues, it is important for you as a student to take a personal inventory of your life to try and determine what isn't working for you. As was mentioned before, many times life circumstances get in the way of college. There are some areas of your life that you should look at to see if you can make some changes to help yourself be more successful in college. First, if you are working, are you possibly either working too much or taking too many classes for the amount of hours you are working per week? Only you can determine how many hours a week you need to work to meet your expenses, but you must consider your priorities. If your priority is school, you may need to cut back on work. If your priority is work, you may need to cut back on school. Second, are your family responsibilities getting in the way of school? If so, you may need to seek support within your family so that you can focus more on school. The other option may be to once again cut back on school so that you aren't overwhelmed with classes while you deal with issues within your family. Third, are you simply taking too many classes? Some students aren't able to handle 15, 12, or even 9 units. If you consistently struggle with the load you are taking, perhaps taking fewer classes could be appropriate. Fourth, perhaps you need to ask someone for academic help like tutoring. You can go to the math lab, writing center, or ask your instructor for a tutoring referral. These are just some areas to consider. Other things may be coming up like an illness or transportation difficulties, but doing a personal inventory and being honest with yourself can help you identify where you can make some changes to improve your academic performance. There are several strategies to help clear academic probation. First, you may want to repeat a course in which you received a D or an F. If you repeat a course in which you earned a D or F and received a higher grade, the higher grade will replace the lower grade in your GPA calculation. The original letter grade will still appear on your transcript, but the lower grade will no longer be factored into your GPA. Another strategy that you may choose to employ to correct D's or F's is a process called academic renewal without course repetition. If you complete 20 units or more with C work or better beginning with the semester after your last D or F, you can petition the college to remove up to 24 units of D's and F's from your GPA calculation. Once again, the original letter grades will still be on your transcript with the notation of academic renewal, but those grades will no longer be factored into your GPA. Academic renewal can only be done once. To determine whether you should repeat a class or participate in academic renewal, you should meet with a counselor. As mentioned earlier, your work-school balance may be out of whack. Choosing to take 2 or 3 courses may make it easier to balance your work-school life priorities rather than taking 4 to 5 courses. Don't sign up for 4 to 5 classes if you know you cannot finish them all. Take fewer classes. Another strategy to be aware of is of the deadlines to drop without a W. Generally, you can drop a class without a W within the first 2 or 3 weeks of school. If you do this, it will not go against the 50% completion requirement and will also save you money because you will be due a refund. Make sure to check your class website or syllabus for information on the last day to drop without a W. Be aware of how much time school commitments will take and how that factors into other commitments such as work, family, and friends. Remember the following formula. 1 unit is equal to 1 hour of class time. To be successful, you are advised to put in at least 2 hours of out-of-class studying per unit per week. So if you're enrolled in 12 units, you will be studying in class 12 hours a week with an additional 24 hours a week out of class, studying for a total of 36 hours per week. You might even be in class more if you have lab, PE, or studio classes. And don't forget, check what the drop deadlines are for your class. Here is an example of what a schedule might look like if you were trying to go to school full-time and work full-time. Remember, there are only 168 hours in a week. It might be helpful for you to do a time inventory similar to this one to see where you are spending your time and cut back in areas that are overspent on, just like a financial budget. Remember, recreation is important to your productivity, so don't cut out all recreation. As you can see, with everything this student has in their schedule, from commuting to working to chores, exercise, and school, it adds up to 202 hours. Clearly, this person is overspent in their time as there aren't enough hours in the week to accomplish everything this person has planned. In this scenario, school is often impacted. Take the appropriate number of courses that will fit with your other commitments and personal needs. Here is a list of some resources for assistance. At the Counseling Center, counselors can help you figure out your academic plans, career options, and help you with your personal counseling in crisis situations or if you're having difficulties in personal areas of your life. Meeting with an instructor during their office hours can help you better determine what the instructor expects from you and will also allow you to obtain a referral to different opportunities for tutoring. EOPS can help provide extended financial assistance with books as well as a great deal of academic support. Finally, if you have a physical, emotional, or learning disability or need to be tested for one, DSS can help determine what accommodations, if any, that you may be eligible for. To summarize, if you do not maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA or do not complete at least 50% of the courses you attempt, then you will be placed on level 1 probation. If you aren't able to maintain this standard once again in a subsequent term, you are placed on level 2 probation. Finally, if you aren't able to maintain this standard a third time in a subsequent term, you are subject to dismissal. If you are on dismissal, you cannot register for future semesters, add or drop a course, and must sit out for at least 2 semesters. Remember that you can use course repetition, and academic renewal, or taking fewer courses to improve your GPA. Make sure to complete the classes you are enrolled in, that you take a personal inventory of your time commitments, that you are aware of important deadlines like the last day to drop a course without a W, and that you remember that you must dedicate 3 hours of work both in and out of class towards each unit you attempt. Finally, don't forget that help is out there, but you must seek it out to take advantage of those resources. Good luck.